Okay, so today I was doing some baking. We've got a barbecue later with like our neighbours and stuff. So I thought I'd take a cake down, and I thought, what better way to start using my Unofficial Bridgerton afternoon tea book, because I want to kind of do a review of it. And we haven't tried the cake yet, but I'm already bitterly disappointed. So I do have some notes. So it's very mismatched because basically each chapter of the book is based on a Bridgerton character. It's all very mismatched, and there's also some kind of racial undertones. I don't know if that's just me that finds it, like Will Mondrich, for example. They've given him very, very Southern American recipes. Bear in mind he's English. It's English. Personally, if it's me, I would have done something like a hearty sausage roll and like a rich fruit cake, because that's fed with brandy, and Will has the best brandy in his club and stuff like that. It's just, it feels very rushed, and I'll tell you why else it feels rushed. So I've just made the sticky marzipan and cherry loaf. If you have followed me for a while, you know I do baking. I cook, I bake. So when there's a little bit of a discrepancy in a recipe, it's no difference to me. Now, if you're a beginner baker, it might throw you off a bit. So in basic cake making, you beat your butter and sugar together, add your eggs and your dry ingredients and sometimes milk. So in this recipe, because it's marzipan, they do have flour and ground almonds. Now, it's all listed in the ingredients of the ground almonds, but then when it comes to the actual recipe, put the butter and sugar in a large bowl, beat until pale and creamy, beating the eggs one at a time, sift in the flour and fold in, then stir in the cherries until evenly distributed in the mixture. Doesn't mention ground almonds. Then I thought, oh, maybe it's going to go in the middle. But it's no. Spoon half the mixture into a prepared loaf tin, level it, sprinkle with the grated marzipan. I used slice because I wasn't going to bother grating it. Top with the remaining mixture, smooth the surface, then you bake it. It doesn't mention the ground almonds in the recipe, but it's listed in the ingredients. It's small discrepancies and stuff like that, that it's a beautifully made book. The paper feels really nice. The images are on the inside are pretty. I feel like the front could have done with a bit more work. It feels a little bit weird, like the bright neon orange, but it's got this beautiful, shiny kind of rose gold kind of leafing on the kind of outer edge. But it just feels very rushed. Like it feels like someone has gone, oh, let's make a afternoon tea book for Bridgerton, an unofficial afternoon tea book, and they've rushed to get it out as quickly as possible to beat everyone else. That's what it feels like, because like I mentioned the Will Mondrich thing, under the Cressida chapter, because it's called a bitchy tea, there's a recipe called feather cupcakes. Now, if that was me, I would put that under a Featherington, or like Feather and Quill, so Lady Whistledown put that under Penelope. But no, they've put that under Cressida, which is a bit weird. There's no real reason for it. And then Cressida also has something called Violet Eclairs under her character, which I would have put under Violet. And then they've tried to make Violet seem very kind of grandma-like cozy by the fireside kind of thing, and it doesn't feel very Violet at all. It really doesn't. It feels very mismatched to the characters. I also don't really like Penelope's character, because you can tell they wanted to do kind of romance kind of recipes, and they've put that under Penelope being lovesick, when Penelope's so much more than that, you know. And like, for example, because they have tea with every character, they've put mint tea under Penelope, which I feel is very mismatched to a lot of the recipes in Penelope's kind of chapter, because the tea you're drinking, you want to match with what you're eating. So with the recipes that they've done, I probably would have put like a white pomegranate tea, because it's mildly sweet but naturally, it's very unassuming but lightly refreshing. But they put mint tea, which I think would really clash with a lot of Penelope's recipes. So if you do get the Unofficial Bridgerton book, just be aware that, you know, the recipes are mismatched and a little bit weird, and there's also some mistakes in the recipes. Like, they've clearly rushed to get this book out, and if you're a beginner baker and you need everything step by step, it's probably not the book for you. Hopefully the cake will taste alright. It's a basic cake mixture where it's like equal measurements of most things, so it'll be fine. I know it'll taste fine. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. Has anyone else got the Unofficial Bridgerton Book of Afternoon Tea? Am I the only one that feels this way? Like, I'm more disappointed that they've clearly rushed so much to get this out that there's mistakes in the actual recipes over what's with the characters. Although it seems a little bit weird, some of the recipes with certain characters, but that's just me. So, if you've got the book, let me know what recipes you tried, because I'm a little bit kind of wary of trying any of the other recipes now, especially now that I know there's mistakes in the book that they've actually published and people are buying. But yeah. Okay, so we start off like usual, just beating our butter and sugar together. That's absolutely fine. This step was fine according to the book. I then added my eggs one at a time. Always crack your eggs into a bowl first, because you never know if you're going to get a funny egg. It also makes it easier to get any shell out before you actually put it into the mix. But yeah, I just mixed really well in between each egg and did them one at a time. Then this is where I added my self-raising flour and ground almonds. I feel like it was just missing some extra oomph from some extra baking powder because the almonds were a bit heavy. Mine was very flat and dense. This is where I decided to add the almond extract, because I've had cakes without almond extract with almonds in, and it can taste a little bit stale, is the only word I can think of. I only added a little bit. I added about half a teaspoon, and then we fold in the cherries. I thought it seemed like a lot of cherries, but once I started mixing it into the batter, it was fine. And these are just glacé cherries. I don't know if you could substitute for fresh, because it would just be too wet. Just mixed it in really well. After that is when we put half the mixture on the bottom of your loaf pan. It says a greased loaf pan, but I should have, like, as you can see, it's non-stick. I definitely should have put some baking paper or something in it, because the cake did not come out of the pan well, with all the sugar from the glacé cherries, the marzipan, the actual sugar in the cake. So learn from my mistake. Marzipan goes in the middle. I sliced mine. I did not bother grating it, just because I didn't want to get something else out that I didn't need to, because more washing up. After the marzipan goes in the middle, you just put the rest of your mixture on top, and you bake at the temperature they say to bake till it's cooked, but mine took nearly twice as long as what they said, so just bear that in mind. I had to put foil over the top to make sure it was okay. Now, I've not got an ending picture because yesterday was so hectic for me, but Nick said it tastes nice. As per usual, I forgot to do an outro. So, cake tasted fine, didn't look anything like it does in the picture. It took a lot longer to bake. A lot longer. I had to end up putting foil over the top of the cake, just so that it was cooked properly. And it wasn't the marzipan either, because marzipan's kind of sticky. It was definitely cake batter, like you could tell by how the pan was moving. It tasted okay. I don't think it would have tasted as nice if I didn't add the almond extract, but again, that's kind of my knowledge of baking. Usually when you make something with almonds, you'd put a little bit of almond extract, because the ground almonds themselves don't taste that much of like almond extract, kind of almondy flavour. I still can't get over the fact that they missed out one of the main ingredients in the recipe that was on the ingredients list. So, like I said, if you have got the Unofficial Bridgerton book, have you noticed the same things as me? Or is it just that one recipe? Is it just the edition I've got? Have they revised it? Who knows? Either way, the cake was okay. But I'm a little bit wary of using the book again. I might do another recipe and see if I have the same issues, because it all feels very fake, is like the word I'm looking for. It feels rushed, it feels fake.